Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I have an ukulele buyer's guide for you. This video is not sponsored. The majority of these ukes shown in this video were borrowed from Hype Music, where I teach. Some ukes I've purchased myself or received as PR samples. Those ukes are clearly labeled in the description box below. Number one, you have to decide what is your budget. What are you willing to spend for a uke? Set that and then go from there. Now, I want to warn you against going too cheap. Usually in my experience, cheaper ukes are not constructed well. I have found inconsistent fretwork and some of the frets poke out of the fretboard. Now, fret sprout, razor neck, spining happens when the fretboard dries out. The frets poke out of the fretboard, making the instrument uncomfortable to play. Now, frets can be shaved down and the fretboard can be conditioned to restore it. So it's not necessarily ruined, but take note of the instrument's overall condition and ask yourself, is this going to be an instrument that is going to last me enough into the intermediate range? Is this worth my money? In my experience, cheaper ukes don't hold their tuning very well. And so a lot of students that bring in the cheaper ukes, they do get frustrated more easily because they're playing the right chords. Their fingers are in the right position. But when they play, they're just like, this sounds awful. And it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with the uke that they're playing. So the number one question that I receive is, what size should I choose? Ukuleles come in four main sizes: soprano, concert, tenor, and baritone. Although they all look very similar, each size will impact the playability and sound of the instrument. So first of all, the soprano, concert, and tenor sizes have strings tuned to G, C, E, and A, while a baritone is tuned to a D, G, B, and E. Very similar to a guitar, but it's missing strings 5 and 6. Typically, the larger the uke, the longer the neck, and that usually means more frets. So generally, the longer neck that you have, the more space you have between the frets. Sometimes some of my students feel like a soprano may be too small for them, and they feel like their hands just feel really, really cramped within the frets. So if you feel like your fingers are going to be cramped in a soprano, a concert is a great happy medium. A tenor typically has a longer neck and even more space between the frets than a soprano. Ukes come in different shapes. You'll see hybrids like banjo-leles, resonators, ukes with cutaways to access the upper part of the fretboard, and pickups to amplify your uke. Those will typically increase the price, and we'll talk about those more in my How to Upgrade Your Uke video. The most traditional is going to be the figure 8 body shape. You're going to find a lot of variety with the figure 8 body shape because it's the most common. You also have a pineapple shape because it resembles the shape of a pineapple. Does the pineapple shape really affect the tone at all? I don't think so. Some people say that pineapples are a little bit more richer in tone. I don't think that that's necessarily the case because tone can be affected by tone wood, strings, bracing, and also the size of the body. So you do have to just pick it up and play it and decide, yeah, I think that that's the tone that I want, or nope, next, try another one. So typically, but not all of the time, the bigger the body, the bigger the tone. Some might find smaller ukuleles to be hard to handle or control while playing, so a larger model might make more sense in this case. And some are looking for a brighter tone, thus making the choice to play a soprano might be best. This is how I have somebody test out a uke to see if it's right for them. First, either rest the uke on your leg or place the body of the uke on your ribs on your right-hand side. Swing your arm around and press the uke to your body using your forearm to carry the weight or support it on your leg. Hold the uke neck up at a 45-degree angle and find where your forefinger meets your hand and locate the notch by the headstock and rest the weight of the headstock on your finger. Ask yourself if the body feels easy to control or does it feel like it's going to slip out of your grasp. Does the right hand feel free to strum? Does the left hand feel free to pivot, even if you've never played? But the only way that you can really know what size is truly going to be your size is if you try a bunch. Now, as you're testing your ukes out, something to consider are the headstocks. Covered gear tuners are aesthetically pleasing, but could weigh down the headstock, while open gear tuners typically lighten the headstock. If you notice that, man, the headstock just feels a bit heavy, a little bit unbalanced, it could be the covered gear tuners. Now this one, I don't think that this one is unbalanced because the body is bigger. So I think that this is very, very well balanced, and the covered gear tuners were a good choice in my opinion. Another thing to consider is the action. That's the distance between the strings and the fretboard, and check to see if it feels comfortable as you press down on the strings. This can be lowered by getting a proper setup if you feel that it's too high or too hard to press down on the strings to produce a clear sound, so that's an easy fix. Also, if the strings feel too stiff or too soft, you can easily switch out the strings, and that's another inexpensive way to customize your uke. Hey, we're almost there for my specific recommendations, so stay tuned. We're going to talk a little bit about tone wood. Typically, I've seen ukes made out of plastic, laminate, solid tone wood, or a hybrid of laminate and solid tone wood. Plastic can usually be found in travel ukes, and they're usually very durable and low cost, but not all plastic is equal. Laminate is made of thin layers of wood that are stuck together with adhesives and pressure to form a sheet. Using laminate materials reduces the cost for the manufacturer and for the consumer. Solid tone wood uses a thicker, more expensive piece of wood. While solid wood is more expensive, people argue that the tone is superior and offers more resonant tone because the material has a uniform grain and thickness to enhance vibration. Better vibration means better sustain and better tone. The idea of combining solid tone wood tops and laminate back and sides offer better tone and projection than an instrument made of laminate, but keeps the price affordable for the consumer. But I have played laminate instruments that have better tone than ones made of solid tone wood, and vice versa. So it really depends upon what kind of tone wood it is, who manufactured it, bracing, strings. So you really can't judge a book by its cover. You really have to try the uke to really see if it's the tone that you're going to love. So first is plastic. Now this is a really cute ukulele that I bought my daughter at Walmart for $25. It can be tuned. It can be played. I don't really recommend it if this is going to be your first ukulele because the strings don't really maintain their tuning, but it's a cute toy. But let's talk about some plastic ukuleles that are meant to be played, that are meant to take a beating. These are travel ukuleles. Both Sopranos. One is from Kala, completely made out of plastic, but it's meant to get wet. It's meant to travel. It's meant to take a beating. It's a cute sound. As far as intonation up and down the neck, it's okay. But the main thing is that it's meant to take a beating and it's going to maintain its tuning, unlike the Shimmer and Shine one. This is the Flight TUS 35 travel uke, and I purchased it from Flight a year and a half ago on discount. I love this one. I actually named this one the #1 soprano ukulele in an article that my friend Terry has on his blog. It's maintained its tuning, and I love the tone out of it. That's pretty darn good, and it's a great price that comes in a variety of colors. This is called ABS cream binding. This is a plastic binding that really helps just fuse the edges together so that if it were to have an unfortunate accident where if you were going to drop it, the likelihood of the edges splitting is going to be significantly reduced. If you look on other ukuleles, they do have ABS binding on the fretboard just to keep the frets from sprouting. Now, will it prevent fret sprout completely? No, it won't. But it's definitely going to help just keep things in that much more. So if you're looking for something maybe just a little bit on the brighter side of the tone spectrum, because when I played the pineapple one, you could tell that that one was deeper than this one. You can see some little design choices that just make this just a little bit pricier. You see the back, you see that flame right there. That's really, really visually stunning. This also comes in blue, and it is also available in the concert and tenor sizes. this is really the best of both worlds with a concert and a soprano. If you like the soprano body, but the neck may be just a little too small for you or just maybe a little cramped, this is an extended neck soprano. So it's kind of a hybrid between a concert and a soprano. You have a little bit more space in between the frets. And this is bound right here. So fret sprout, I don't think you're going to have a problem with it in this one. Look at that back. Gorgeous. Comes in blue, purple, green, and this beautiful yellow. I love the glossy finish because I really think it brings out the uniqueness of this tone wood. And Ohana necks just feel so solid. I think that it's very well balanced, nice and lightweight. You have ABS cream binding along here just to help with fret sprouts. Not going to prevent it 100%, but it's definitely going to help. ABS binding around the edges, so it is going to be a bit more on the durable side just in case you hit an edge. Really pretty abalone rosettes, and it comes in different colors. Something I do like about the neck is that this is thinner than the 15 cm. So if you're looking for something just a little bit more slender for your hands, it's not so thin where you feel like you're hanging on to nothing. But if you want something that's more of a D-shaped neck profile than a C-shaped neck profile, just a little bit thinner, this one may be the one for you. This one is described to be meant for the entry-level player, but also to last you well into the intermediate range. So you can see this reflected upon the price and the design choices as well, because it's $180. Now, do you have $180 to spend? Depends. Something you have to know about Kala is that they have an app so that it can go through a whole bunch of different songs, different chords. You can learn from some very familiar faces like Ukulele and Emily Arrow. The fretboard is not bound, but it's very well done. I don't feel like these frets are going to sprout anytime soon. This lovely abalone rosette. Very traditional looking, yet stands out just a little bit. have made some really beautiful design choices that just really resonate with, no pun intended, but they really resonate with the player. They have a wider neck profile. And then, of course, with the baritone, you have more space between the frets. You are going to have to use different chord shapes and voicings. Well, the shapes might be similar to that of the ukulele, but they're going to be different names because they're tuned completely differently than a standard ukulele. These are just my opinions, and if people want to differ from me, that is totally okay. Leave your comments in the comments section below. What do you think? What ukuleles do you have that you recommend? What are some of your experiences? Because that's going to help not only me, but other people that are looking to shop for their first ukulele. All of these links to these ukuleles are in the description box below, so please go ahead and visit those. If you have any other questions, let me know, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.